Welcome all to April 3rd Wilton Town Board meeting. Start off with a public hearing, proposed local law 3 of 2025 exception moratorium for cannabis manufacturing, cultivation, and anybody signed to speak?
Yes. Steve Badarian.
Who's he?
Never seen him before.
Been a whole month since we've seen him.
It's almost bike riding season.
I'm Steve Badarian, live at 8 Woodman Drive. I spoke last month in support in some of the positive effects of the use of cannabis product. And so I would say that I'm speaking today in opposition to continuing a moratorium on the growth and cultivation and of this product. And we already mentioned that it's a benefit to our veterans who suffer from PTSD. It's a benefit to, in particular, the young man I spoke about last month, who had epilepsy. It's also a benefit for those suffering side effects from cancer treatment. These are all benefits. So I would then say that it's a reasonable thing to expect now that we have a change to the zoning of this product, that we should then remove the prohibition or not the prohibition, but the moratorium. Thank you.
Thanks, you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Steve.
Anyone make a motion to close public hearing?
Make the motion, close it.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Proposed, carried. Proposed local law number 4, 2025, amendment of traffic mitigation fees. Anybody signed up to speak?
No.
Make a motion to close that one.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Everybody stand for the pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Supervisor Lamb.
Yeah.
Deputy Supervisor McEachran.
Here.
Councilman Bogardus.
Here.
Councilwoman Culligan. Here. Councilman O'Connor.
Here.
Thank you. Anybody signed up to speak?
No.
Public comment?
No.
Anyone want to make a motion to approve last month's minutes?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. I invited Mr. Khan here. I didn't move that up.
No, it's correct.
He's the new owner of the Wilton Mall. Thank you for stepping up, and if you want to, I asked him to come and introduce himself, and if we have any questions, and maybe share his plans with us.
Good evening.
His time's up already?
Sorry.
Thank you for coming.
Welcome to Wilton.
Thanks for leaving.
So as the supervisor said, my name is Faraz Khan. Myself and my family were local to the area. I was born and raised in Albany Colony. Came back about 10 years ago. My family's been in development in the Capital District for over 50 years. Myself, it's been almost 25 years. We also own the Clifton Park Mall, about 20 minutes down the road. With the Wilton Mall, it's a great property, it's a great town, a great location. Unfortunately, it's been maybe a little neglected for the past several years. And we think we can give it a pretty substantial renovation. Although we do plan on eventually developing apartments, it's more important for us to first revive the mall. We really think that we can breathe some life back into it. I have about 7 tenants that we plan on bringing into all new tenants over the next 8 months. We're in talks additional tenants. These are local and national tenants. It'll be a combination of retail, maybe a couple outlet clothing stores, which I think will be a nice draw. As exciting as the one Chinese restaurant in the food court is, we think that there's room for a few other businesses. We're bringing in a pizza place, maybe Mediterranean, and a few other cuisines, a coffee shop, and a number of other amenities. So I know this was kind of last minute. I appreciate you guys allowing me to speak. I look forward to working with all of you, and if there are any questions I can answer, I'd be happy to do that now, or I'm happy to hang out for a little while afterwards. That's more appropriate. But thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're excited about it.
Welcome to Wilton.
We're excited as well.
I honestly believe it will be a big success for you, and not just for you, but for the town.
You've had a lot of success down in Clifton Park.
Absolutely.
I congratulate you for that.
Thank you.
Do you see any differences between the Clifton Park market and the Wilton market as far as potential and future uses for the mall?
I think they have similarities. I think that they're both family markets, but I think Wilton is more interesting. I love Clifton Park, but I think there's a lot more outlet potential here in Wilton. Again, it's a great piece of property, great location. It's just been underutilized, and it's people haven't seemed to pay much attention to it for the last several years. I think with a major renovation, we can really make it maybe a little bit nicer than Clifton Park, maybe a little more upscale. Not so high-end that it prices the local market out.
Sure.
I think we can make this a little bit nicer than Clifton Park.
So you've seen the plans that went around for the last 2 years.
Yes.
Is it going to be somewhat similar to that design, or are you going your own
So I like
direction?
the density. I think that's a good number of units. But for us, I don't like that particular plan. For Miami, Florida, it would be fine, but for those of you that are from the area, we don't have the same weather that they do. So it would be, in our opinion, better to have the units, not so much garden style outdoor units, but maybe connected, and we really think it's important to have a corridor connecting the apartments to the center of the town.
I meant more the mall portion of it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well,
Just the mall portion.
Yeah, one of the things that we don't plan on doing is we don't want to tear down the downtown. We want to keep it, we're going to renovate it, we're going to redevelop it, and I'm going to bring new tenants in there, if that answers your question.
No, I just was curious.
I know years ago,
the
it used to
eyesore.
be a family destination. I know when my kids were younger.
Yeah.
All my kids and his friends and family, we'd all meet at the mall.
Yeah.
It was a well-established food court and shopping. So all the parents sat there while the kids did the merry-go-round and all sorts of stuff. And it was, especially during the winter months, it was a family destination.
It's a place to go, yeah.
And I would like to see that. I go to Clifton Park because you do a lot of public events in and around the mall. So I've gone to many of them down there. And I always walk through there, geez, I wish we had this up there. So I'm anticipating you're going to bring some of that to us.
I think so.
Yeah.
And for those who don't know, we own Clifton Park Mall, Clifton Park Center Mall, or Clifton Country Mall, as some people still call it, for about 2 years. And within the first 20 months, we were able to increase traffic from 4.8 million to about 5.6 million visitors a year, which is kind of an increase. We plan on finishing this month at 6 million visitors. Wow. I think we can get to 6 million visitors at Wilton Mall. It's going to take us about 2.5 years, but I think we're going to hit it. And going back to what you were saying, I remember when they opened it. It was 1990, and it was the new mall.
Yeah.
It used to be Crossgates, and it was Wilton, and everyone used to come here. But if anyone looks at the floor tiles, and it's been maintained, I don't want to discount anyone here, but or in the community that's worked on it.
90s.
It's the same tiles from when the mall opened. It looks, for the most part, the same as when it opened, and you got to freshen things up every once in a while.
Absolutely. And that was some of our contentions when we were doing the process of going through the PUDD.
Sure.
Was updating and upgrading the ambiance of the mall and stuff, to, visually attracting you there.
We'd rather create a new destination in the mall.
Right.
And once we've already done it, then build the apartments, rather than be the typical developer who makes a lot of promises that, people are not sure if they can come through. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean that to get...
No,
But,
You hit the nail on the head.
absolutely. I'm ecstatic on it.
Well, thank you so much. And I look forward to getting to know all of you and work with the community. We really think we can turn it around.
Maybe just one last question.
Yes.
I don't know if anyone else was in the room was at the grand opening for the Wilton Mall, but Neil Sedaka played live.
Can you get him back?
Is he still alive? Yeah, is he still alive? But it makes me think about entertainment, and I've seen in other parts of the country and regionally that space that was formerly used for retail had become entertainment space, and I was wondering how that might work into your plans.
So at the Clifton Park Center, we've had 48 events at the moment the last 2 years, and that's craft fairs, flea markets, wedding shows. We do a lot with nonprofits. Wilton Mall, it's just so much bigger. Clifton Park Center, it's only in the small interior corridor that's left, but I think we can do a lot. And SPAC's not too far away. If we can get, some of these groups every once in a while to...
Just let them park the buses in the parking lot.
I'm sorry?
Let them park the buses in the parking lot.
Sure. And also, we do a lot with Clifton Park, and I think, the supervisor knows that. We want to work with you guys. If you need space, if there's a community that you guys want to do, we plan on working hand in hand. We will make the space available to you guys.
Thank you.
And I want to thank you for working with our county sheriff's department and leaving them there, because that's a big plus to our town.
We're very happy to have it. And we do expect them to walk around a little bit more to make their presence known. But it's, we plan on keeping it clean and safe for the security.
Sure.
Nice.
Well, thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Khan.
Thank you.
Wilton Wildlife, you're up, Margot.
All right.
I couldn't believe it was a quarterly already.
You say that every time?
I know.
Seems like it's been forever since.
Last time I was here, she did
John,
it.
Yeah.
Up for two.
John, do you want to hit the lid? Touch your John.
So I feel like I always now have like two reports. So there's the quarterly report, which this is one side. I don't know, did you get the other side? Are there 2 pages of the report?
No. Okay.
So there are some statistics about our school programs and our attendance that are on the other page. So I'll make sure that you all get that, so that you have that. So the first quarter of the year flew by. It was wonderful for outdoor recreation in that we had actual some snow this year, and so we were able to do more of our programming in the winter. We were able to rent the snowshoes and cross-country skis. We were able to groom for the cross-country skiing and snowshoeing at Camp Saratoga, so that makes such a difference, being able to really have a real winter season to be able to do that. And during our February vacation, we had a lot of kids, a lot of families, a lot of programs, so that was great. We do a lot in the wintertime with schools, going to schools. We did some snowshoe programs with schools, and so our programming for the first quarter of the year was very strong. In fact, the numbers, which are not on this sheet, were almost double the numbers last year. So I think between doing a few more school programs and having the ability to do more with the snow on the ground was certainly helpful to us. And so we were able to reach more people, which is always great for us because that's what our mission is. So I'm going to jump over to the slideshow here. Am I walking? So I know you're always really curious about what's going on with the Larry Gordon Outdoor Education Center, so I wanted to just start with that update as well. I showed you these pictures last time, but it was a few months ago. This was in the fall when the highway department was putting in, they're putting in these wonderful pathways, which were then covered immediately by snow for the winter, but now they're there, they're present, people are able to use those. It makes the space more accessible, and again, thanks so much to the highway department, and then D.A. Collins, who donated the materials for that. This is I tried to go today to get another picture because the truck was there this morning with the blown-in insulation. So this was the day before, so the Facilities and Grounds Department finished up the interior to get it ready, so all the wiring was in place, the subfloor is in place, all the framing is in place, and so they did the blown-in insulation, like I said, today. So this picture is already obsolete from yesterday, and the next step for the Facilities and Grounds Department will be doing the sheetrocking and getting the interior finished up. So we were told the goal is to maybe July to have the building ready and open to the public. So we're very excited about that. Again, it's really, things get, maybe a little delayed here and there, but I feel like we're making great progress. It's moving forward. And again, thank you to the town. This in-kind work that is being provided by the town workers is huge and wonderful and makes it possible. And then all of the actual expenses of buying materials and supplies and paying for the contractor to do this is all through the money that we raised and through the grants that we got. So it's a really wonderful partnership with the town getting this Larry Gordon Outdoor Education Center going. So this is just a little more bullet point details about what happened in that health lodge. So you can see energy-efficient windows, the floor support system, rotting wood, missing siding was replaced, new electrical panel, new electrical wiring, the new accessible width doors, so once we put the deck there, then wheelchairs will be able to access in the building through the new door, the wall and ceiling framing, the subfloor, and then the insulation. So all of that is what's happened at the building so far. A few other updates. There's an Eagle Scout project that's in the works for Camp Saratoga. Philip has been working over the winter with us. We'll be putting in 3 educational gardens there, a native plants pollinator garden, indigenous garden, and a kitchen garden. Our educator Kaylee is working with Philip to help Philip figure out which plants and the best way to go about things. So he's about to start his fundraising, so I'm sure you'll see the flyer here at Town Hall when he does his Applebee's pancake fundraiser, and so we can all go and support him and his project. And then we're also working on replacing the kiosks. One of them blew down at Camp Saratoga, so we're in the process of finalizing the plans for it. We were all ready to order some kiosks, and then the suggestion was made that we could have someone local build them for less, so now we're seeing if there's someone local who can build them for less. So that's where we are with that right now. So in terms of other updates, just a reminder that, the accessible site plan and pathways, that we've been working with the LE group on that. They've donated their time. We're busy getting the exhibits ready, so working with Trish, Larry's widow, with the items from the Larry Gordon Scouting collection that will be at the Welcome Cabin, so that when that's ready in July, so we're using July as our deadline, so we're getting the exhibits ready. And then fundraising, we did get this other grant through the New York State CBGA capital program and we're just finalizing. We had put in the grant for significantly more. They told us, put everything in, and then, depending on how many people applied for the grant, they would scale it back. So they scaled it back from 300 to about 100, to just 100,000. But at $100,000, we don't have to provide a match, which is nice, so we get all 100,000. So we're just, actually, the committee today was just talking about which of the things on that list that we put in for the grant that we are going to actually be putting in the budget and submitting to the state for that contract. And then the last bullet point there, we are talking about what to do, revising our capital campaign and financial projections. It's not in the room anymore. With the Macerich Company's sale of the mall, they had pledged $300,000 to the Larry Gordon Outdoor Education Center, which was the public benefit that they had told the town that they would do. It looks like, from communicating with Macerich, that the contract is written in such a way that if the new owner does develop the housing, that triggers that donation being made again. But we're still trying to figure that out.
Well, we said at this meeting, and meetings I had with them, it was going to be given if they got the approval of the PUD and the apartments. That's what it was based on.
Right.
So they did get the approval for the PUD.
And the apartments. It didn't say nothing about if they sold it or then or moved ahead.
Yeah. But I believe the language, and then Mark would probably know better, the language it looks like in the PUD agreement says that even if it's sold, the next person is required if they do apartments.
So how did that get in there? That's how we
CO
approved.
gets triggered.
I don't know how it got in there. We agreed upon it.
I know part of the negotiations was the mall wasn't to be sold also. Right, John?
Well, it's in the PUD language.
I told you what their plan was all along, but no one believed me.
So,
No, I believed you.
yeah.
But they said they weren't going to sell the mall as part of the contingency too.
So anyway.
Well, that's old business.
Well, but we, we are going to try to
No, I want to know how we
figure out,
look into it.
but we know that even if now, from reading in the newspaper and now hearing here, that it said the new owners are talking about the earliest might be 2027 before they were to do apartments. So we know that even if they were to do it and it did trigger the donation, we have to be able to move ahead without that. We always viewed it as a pledge, that it was, a wait and see kind of thing, so. All right. Now this is more fun to talk about. Again, we've talked a little bit about the programming. So these are some of the winter vacation programs, some of the different ongoing programs we have, Nature on the Move, Bird Walk, tree identification walk, different kinds of programs that are taking place at Camp Saratoga. And then community outreach. We do a lot in the community, and in this first quarter of the year, we participated in the Martin Luther King weekend events, and we were at the Adirondack Sports and Fitness Expo, where we were able to interact with a lot of people and gave away hundreds and hundreds of maps showing people where Camp Saratoga is, where the trails are. It's groups of people who are really interested in the outdoors and in facilities and where they can get out and get outdoors. So it was really great for us to be able to share that information with them. And you can see in the picture there too, we were promoting the Larry Gordon Outdoor Education Center. And in the hours that I was there, it was really wonderful how many people came up to me and said, I knew Larry, so it's like a really cool thing to know.
Everybody knew Larry.
See that, that it's meaningful to them. And then, again, working with schools. In the winter, we do more in schools than field trips, but we're gearing up for our field trip season. So again, we work in the classrooms and then out in nature as well. And then Moving ahead from April, May, and June, you can see a list of some of our upcoming public programs here, all kinds of different walks, getting away from all the winters, snowshoe, animal tracking, the kinds of things we do in the winter, to things that are related to what's out and available. Frog Watch, we'll have the Carnival Butterfly Walk starting in May, guided plant walks, spring wildflower walks at Aura Phelps, our Earth Day essay contest, and we have a whole week of school vacation programs and then Earth Week programs that are going on as well. And then finally, because I know I did this for you, Erin, because last time you said it was so interesting to see all of the different schools that we work with. So I asked Allison when she put the list together, and I said, "Where's Dorothy Nolan?" And she said, "Oh, we were just at Dorothy Nolan." So we were there in the first quarter, so that's why they're not on this list. But you can see at the top are the ones that have the kids from Wilton there, but then also we're really working in a regional way, and we're working with all the way from lower elementary, kindergartners, all the way through high school age kids. And this doesn't have, but we've also done, it's on that other page that you have, did a lot this winter with some senior centers. And that was something that was really well received by the residents at the senior centers.
What's amazing is that Manans, Troy, Broad Alvin, I mean, that's a hike.
We're well known, we're well known.
So some of them we're going to, and some of them are coming to Giltree. So like Corinth and some of the others, Troy, they came up for pictures as well. So, yeah. Well, it's a great facility, and we feel really strongly like we're doing some great programming, and so it's, the word, I guess, has gotten out, and so all the teachers are signing up for this program. So, if anyone had any questions, I think you're sort of asking questions as we went along. Thank you.
Thank you for the great job you and your staff do there, Margot.
Thank you, I appreciate it, John. And again, I mean, we always say it, we are, very grateful to the partnership we have with the town and Ryan and the other staff. He asked me not to say his name before. The other staff, really, they're amazing and they do, such a great job. And they're really helping us as we figure out, all the ins and outs. There's a lot of complexity. Like, I know Ryan talked about that spectrum email about getting all of the, all of the kinds of services that we need to get it up and going. So.
Turn it on.
His mic's not
I'll turn it off.
No.
You can break it.
Did the mic turn itself off?
I don't know what's wrong with that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, just making a water noise.
Proposed local law number 2, 2025, cannabis manufacturing, cultivation, distributing in C2 zone. Need a motion?
We did receive the county planning board. Their decision was to approve. Saratoga County Planning Board questioned the process of the special use permit review by the town board as opposed to the planning board. The Saratoga County Planning Board is advising municipalities that are contemplating land use decisions on cannabis matters to consult with New York State Office of Cannabis Management. The New York State Office of Cannabis Management can be the resource for any questions that may come up during the process of updating town regulations on cannabis manufacturing, cultivation, and distribution in order to establish standards to govern state licensed facilities.
During the deliberations that the committee had that was involved with the drafting of the local law, we did reach out to the Association of Towns, got material from the Office of Cannabis Management, spoke with or got correspondence from other municipalities across the state that have dealt with the same issues. So we feel like, we've vetted, the issue adequately. On the one suggestion that the county planning department or planning board had, about the special use permit possibly being issued by the planning board as opposed to the town board. My own opinion is, since the planning board will obviously have review of site plan and have some control over the approval process, that perhaps a second body, like the town board, might be more appropriate for that special use permit. So that's just my thinking on it.
Now, we could send it down to the planning board for the review and final determination, then send it back to us for final approval?
Well, we won't do site plan approval, but if the use requires a special use permit.
Right.
I don't know if...
I think what Ray thought about is the comment from the county was questioning, not necessarily criticizing, but questioning whether the town board should be the reviewer and issuer of the special use permit.
Correct.
That's what Ray's talking about.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, not site plan approval, or appropriate, zoning interpretation, which would either go to the planning board or the zoning board if necessary. So with that in mind, I would make a motion to approve the local law number 2, cannabis manufacturing, cultivation, and distribution law.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. Proposed local law number 3, 2025, extension of moratorium on cannabis manufacturing and cultivation and distribution.
We don't need them.
Don't need that now?
No, we just voted it through. Yep.
On that last one, are we going to be the town board is going to be in control of it, not the planning board?
Just for the special use permit.
For the special, that was part of the motion.
That's what I was
Yeah,
asking.
the planning board will carry out its normal duties in terms of
Part
site
of your
plan
motion
review.
was the town board has.
Yeah.
That's the same thing we did with that senior
Yeah.
housing special permit.
Correct. Exactly.
We're over talking about it.
Thank you, Ray, for setting up that committee.
Yeah, nice job, Ray, on that.
Thank you.
Proposed local law number 4 of 2025, amendment of traffic mitigation fees.
And also, they do need to go in order since we skipped number 3, so this will actually be proposed local law number 3.
Oh, because we don't have to,
Trouble with this one.
Yes, yes, you do.
so that's going to be considered
Really good.
3 now?
We're being fair.
No, yeah. Not 4, but 3.
Okay,
It
so
is,
we're
yes, it's
proposed local law number 3.
Yeah, that used to have different options, kind of.
Yes.
So what does this particular amendment say, or are we deciding today,
Today.
as part of the amendment, we're deciding that if we want to, any new projects that come in, depending on where the opinions are, but
And we also-
the motion will be, that's okay. I'm just asking procedurally, the motion will be what we
Any
want
new
to see.
application.
Okay, any new applications.
So my understanding is that the change is related to projects being measured by traffic generation as opposed to square footage.
Correct.
Which doesn't necessarily have an impact on
More appropriately, the
traffic
number of
flows.
trips actually being generated by the project.
Yeah.
Road use.
Yeah, so I'm supportive of the change, although I think it should apply to new applications only, since others who have come before the appropriate
All right.
legislative
That's how it should
bodies,
be.
have already planned out their fee schedules and everything else. So I'll make a motion to approve those changes.
Do you have the latest and greatest?
I do, from the county. I'm sorry, I just didn't mean to interject here, but we do have the referral back from the county with their decision to approve. The Saratoga County Planning Board understands the costs of traffic mitigation could increase over time, especially as changes in technology or inflation can impact the overall cost structure. A regular review process to reflect current costs of mitigation efforts may be considered.
Now, what are we looking to do? To apply to only new applicants?
Yes.
I mean, we have applicants that really haven't started the process, correct?
Well,
Usually it's either, you know,
Pulled the permits?
yeah, nothing's pulled permits yet. So we have projects that are before the planning board seeking final approval.
Right.
There's, you know, I'll say 3 stages before the planning board, you know, conceptual, preliminary, final approval.
Yeah, they gotta be
And, you can
grandfathered.
choose what point you want to, you know.
Well, they gotta be
associate
grandfathered.
these to the planning projects.
I think they gotta be grandfathered, and they've already gone through 3 stages.
Yeah, I
They've
think.
already got their
I
finances.
agree
Trying to
with
clarify
Ray.
where we're putting it.
Normally, we would do it on,
Any new
when they pull a permit,
Any
but
new applications as
Starting-
of this date.
Right.
Right.
Right, no, I just clarifying that we're not hitting people.
yeah, I grandfathered them all into today.
Yeah. So again, my motion is to approve the proposed local law number 3.
Yes.
Did I get that right, Sue?
Yes.
Finally, yeah.
And that it be applicable to applicants, new applicants as of tomorrow.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. Contract between Silver Springs City School District and Town of Wilton for assessment litigation. You want to talk about that, Maria?
Yes, so currently, when there's a certiorari case for a property that is within the town and school district boundaries, the assessor's department will pursue a valuation expert to help us with the valuation, to defend the valuation. And the cost of that has been very variable. One of the bills that we received was $20,000. You know, in one year, another year could be $6,000. There's really no way to gauge the significance of the cost to the town. So since I've been here, there's always been a kind of a handshake agreement or a verbal agreement where the town will bill the school district for 50% of what we pay the valuations expert every year. And the school district has always paid us, no questions asked. But, you know, in speaking with the school district, we thought it would be a good idea to get this in writing so that it can go forward every year without question, regardless of, you know, if I'm here, I'm not here, it's still something that can be ongoing. So the school district did agree. You know, originally I had, as I had mentioned in an email, I had originally recreated the agreement with not only valuation fees, but attorney's fees, because I thought, well, we don't have a town tax. We are basically defending the taxes for the school's benefit and other special district benefits. So the value to us is basically almost nothing, you know, in terms of the benefit money-wise to what the town would bring in. So the school district did suggest that they would be more comfortable with just paying 50% of the valuation expert. And I felt that in the spirit of just getting this done, that would be a decent maneuver. So in other words, we're just basically putting in writing the agreement that we've been doing all along, which was just 50% of the valuation expert. So.
And they're paying, he, you know, said that they were paying for their own attorney also.
Yes, exactly,
So,
yeah.
They didn't want to pay for half of ours also,
Right.
which is understandable.
Yeah.
And we do we not get an indirect benefit in that the distribution of this county sales tax is based on our overall assessment?
Right.
So defending our assessment, you know, it may not be the same benefit that the school district's getting.
Yeah,
But
that
we get a
is
little something out of it.
Right.
That is true. However, unfortunately, our equalization rate continues to decline.
Yeah.
So that also impacts the sales tax distribution. The formula is very complex and it involves a couple of different factors. But yes, Ray, you're absolutely right.
So unless council or the controller has an objection, I'll make a motion to approve the contract between the school district and the town of Wilton for assessment litigation.
For a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Thank you. And then,
Contract between Friends of Gavin Park and the Town of Wilton.
Is there more, Maria?
no,
Okay.
sorry. just moving on to the next one, I'm sorry. It's a little jumping the gun.
All right, nice.
Do we have any friends here?
You want to talk about that, Maria?
Sure. So Friends of Gavin Park, Wilton Recreation, actually, Friends of Wilton Recreation, is an organization that, as you know, they help the town with parks. They put a lot of effort into helping to improve, the residents' and users' enjoyment of various recreational facilities in the town. And Chris Iwinski, who's the president of Friends of Wilton Recreation, had come and talked about purchasing and installing the zip line. They did pursue that. The invoice that they received was over $50,000. They had asked the town if we would pay for half of that. So that is what the essence of the contract is for. So the amount that the town would pay would be approximately $26,000, which will be on the comptroller's report later.
It's actually less than what it came in at, wasn't it? I thought they expected it to be a lot higher.
Oh, did you? Okay. I didn't. I thought it would be.
Yeah, that was like 80.
They just buy one? Or is that for two?
Two.
Because when we saw,
Yeah,
we
it's
heard
two.
the price,
It's
we were
two.
like, why don't you get two?
Right.
It was a dual.
It's a dual line.
Dual line.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It's also, I was reminded that it's also handicap accessible. I didn't.
There's an attachment.
Yeah, some type of bay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wheelchair attachment?
I think we wanted
Kind of like the
some,
bigger angled swings.
Someone make a motion?
I'll make the motion for the contract between us and the Friends of Wilton.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carried. And John and Dwayne, stay off it.
what?
We can go have races.
You're all right.
Wait, I was gonna talk about the ramp. We were gonna incorporate the ramp too somehow.
That is correct.
No,
The ramp we got last year.
You got the ball through the Wilton Park?
yeah.
Yeah, because that was supposed to be all incorporated in the
They're
same
gonna try to
crowd.
incorporate that right in there, so.
Picked it up and brought it up.
On this side.
Let's skip to that one.
Carr and Jones Road, traffic, connectivity improvements, CEQA.
Voted down.
Carr and Jones.
Yes, so part of the project procedures, so we have to go through a seeker process. And before you have part one and part two of the forms, and I will let the expert go through his process on the seeker procedures.
Right? So for everybody's benefit, remember that SECRA is an acronym that stands for State Environmental Quality Review Act. What Ryan is saying is that I think it's the state that's requiring us to go through the environmental assessment form. You have part one, I believe you have part one in front of you. Part one,
The Imperial Drop.
right? Part one is completed on behalf of the supervisor and dated April 3rd. And then there are 11 questions to answer about potential environmental impacts. What we're talking about is, I believe, roundabouts, multi-use path, and reshaping of swales, correct?
Correct?
Yes, correct.
So the questions are, excuse me, the questions are answerable with either no or small impact. That's the same answer. If you think that there's no impact or a small impact, then the answer is no or small impact. You don't have to worry about whether it's small or no if you think it's no or small. If there's a larger impact, if there's an impact that's larger than small, then you have to characterize it as moderate to large.
Easy for you to say.
Larger than small.
I'm not, exactly right.
Are we being tested?
At least it's not the 1%.
Larger than small, but it could be still moderate.
Yeah.
I am not the creator of any of this.
Yeah.
At least the cameras are leaving.
That's right. Ready to run through the questions?
Ready?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, will the proposed action create a material conflict with an adopted land use plan or zoning regulation?
No.
The noes have it. Will the proposed action result in a change in the use or intensity of use of land?
No.
Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of the existing community?
No.
No or small?
No.
Good answer.
Thank you.
We can skip over question 4 because we don't have any officially designated critical environmental areas in Wilton. 5, will the proposed action result in an adverse change in the existing level of traffic or affect existing infrastructure for mass transit, biking, or walkway?
Not adverse, no.
That's why I emphasize the word. Question 6, proposed action will cause an increase in the use of energy and fails to incorporate reasonably available energy conservation or renewable energy opportunities.
No.
Will proposed action impact existing public or private water supplies?
No.
Public or private wastewater treatment utilities?
No.
Will proposed action impair the character or quality of important historic, archaeological, architectural, or aesthetic resources?
No.
Will proposed action result in adverse change to natural resources such as wetlands, water bodies, groundwater, air quality, flora, or fauna?
No.
Proposed action result in increase in the potential for erosion, flooding, or drainage problems?
No.
And lastly, will proposed action create a hazard to environmental resources or human health?
No.
Correct. So answering all those questions as we did, that means that, excuse me, that the board can adopt what's called a secret negative declaration or a determination of no significant environmental impact.
Got that, Ray? Yeah, I'll make a motion for a negative declaration under secret.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Joe O'Brien wants to step down from the Board of Appeals. I talked to Joe the other day. I guess his wife is getting worse. He has to stay in Florida a little longer, and maybe because he put almost 40 years in that job, and he made this town a better place, believe me.
I agree.
I called Joe this afternoon when I saw that he was planning on resigning. And by the way, he was at that Neil Sedaka concert with me. That's how old we are.
Is Neil still alive?
I don't know.
Why don't we look that up?
How do you spell it?
S-E-D-A-K-A.
Ask your
Oh,
mother.
keep talking about it. Is my mother? Yeah.
But,
Hey, I was alive when that mall was built.
I congratulated Joe on the many years that he put into being on the
Lot of
ZBA
time.
and chairing the ZBA. He did a really good job for the town. We reminisced quite a bit about all the changes that have happened over the last 30, 40 years.
And we will get him a nice plaque, what he deserves.
Big one. A big one. Yeah, I'll accept his resignation with regret.
Yeah, with deep regret, I'll second.
Second deep regret.
Same.
I did want to talk about you want to talk about that now, or
Wait, we gotta finish this. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carried.
under committee report, maybe?
Yep. Committee reports.
Yeah. So on this, because now that the seat's been vacated, rather than just fill it, maybe we can find out who's interested in it, because I believe the board appoints the chairperson, so maybe we can get an idea who'd like to fill it, and then have them intern for the rest of the year.
I had a call
And then
today
appoint
by
him.
one person.
And then appoint
I
them.
think we have to do an interim, just have them see who wants it, and then we can do some interviews.
Well, if you got two or
Yeah.
three, and if they, once they run a couple meetings, my thoughts is if you ran a couple meetings,
Yeah.
you may not want to do it. So if we let them run, if you get three people and they run 3 meetings and 2 say, yeah, it's not for me, then
Yeah.
it makes our job a lot easier. That was my thoughts.
Can we appoint a
When is
temporary
this?
person?
When does the ZBA next
Fourth Thursday of every month.
Fourth Thursday? Okay, so we have a couple of weeks to...
That might be our solar announcement.
They put temporaries in there now, so
I'm just saying, that's gonna be probably a big meeting.
they have temps now, that there's a different person running it now when he's in Florida. so-
Who's running it now?
Well, last one, Scott
Scott
ran.
Kingsley
and then-
ran it.
But I'm not sure who's even interested.
Yeah, I know Scott Kingsley told me.
Scott is.
I did get a couple applicants, but
Yeah.
to be fair, you would almost want to know how many people are interested, I would
Yeah.
think, and then make a decision. I'd hate to,
March 24th. Sorry, April 24th. Yes, I
I'd
can
get-
see that calendar.
that's how I would,
Lisa Bossy can send out.
I would do it like that myself.
Or I can send it.
And then if we only have 3 that want it,
But there's a vice chair that can step
There
into
is a
the role.
vice chair.
He's the one that's
Right,
doing
vice
the
chair
work,
could
who's
step
been
into the
floated.
role for time being.
So,
not sure.
All right.
Oh, okay.
I've got a quick committee report. The Army Corps of Engineers approved our project for the fishing station and trail going to it from Northern Pines Road. And there's also a numbered assembly bill that Kerry Warner sponsored for the 12 acres of land that's north of there to be given to the town, so that the town in turn can work with the Veterans and Community Housing Coalition to create some additional veteran housing.
Yeah, I got a call from the senator's office to work with Kerry if we want it. That's of course we do. So nice. He was working with them too.
Where is the property? Is that the TDSO property or no?
It's part of the
Okay.
DDSO property, the southwest corner
Okay,
of their property,
thank you.
right on the Pines Road.
Back on that Gavin Park, I think we gotta come up with something to protect that warped wall. They did want to incorporate that warped wall. Right now, it's sitting in the old pavilion, so that's gonna have to be moved pretty soon to, to utilize that pavilion. So, I don't know if we want to put some kind of canopy, maybe like a carport or something over it.
I don't think we have any place else to store that.
No, but I think a carport's inexpensive. They come in and they install it, so right, less than $4,000 or $5,000, I think.
Yeah, and it'll be multi-use after that.
So I don't know if we have to, if we have to do something, or maybe the park has some money in their budget. I could talk to Ross, I suppose, but.
So it would be John King's department code, and there is money there now.
Oh, good.
But we could also, when we have our quotes and we've gone through the procurement process, we'll have a better idea of the actual cost. And then we can do a budget amendment or a budget transfer.
Yeah, I think if we keep this outside, it's not gonna last.
Unless it's stuff,
Unless can we come off that daily gym with us, with a...
If you want to incorporate it with the zip line, I don't think it's gonna, it would have, probably kind of have to
Then
be
we
back
have to
there
get
somehow.
involved in engineering and all that stuff if we come off the building.
You're going to incorporate with the zip line.
I think when you get off the zip line, you can go from there, run right up to, I don't know, apparently you just run up the thing and that's it.
I'm saying they can go up against the building, maybe more secure, especially in...
Yeah, no, I agree that.
Inclement weather.
No, I think
like that,
if you mean put
secure
the
to
ramp up against the building.
Yeah,
Yeah.
up against the daily gym, then...
I don't remember if the
Put a
stairs
roof
are in
to
the
keep
back
it
of that or not.
out of the elements.
Must be something to get.
I don't remember the stairs on it.
I've never seen it, so.
We'll have to figure it out.
I think it's
No,
flat.
you slide down it, you're right.
Right,
So yeah, it
flat
could
in
go
the
up
back.
against the building.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did slide down it, now that I think of
Yes,
it.
you did.
I did slide down it, yeah.
Because you couldn't...
I had to test it to make sure it was
There's
going to
a video
save.
of that. There's a video of that.
There is a video.
That installation, think about where we want to put it. Okay.
I'll look into some,
So you were looking for
Carports.
just like a storage?
I think
cover.
just a carport, just to cover it, just to keep the,
Well, actually, maybe we
Just to
should look
store
more.
it for now?
look
no,
for-
I mean, you could keep it right under a carport.
So during the winter time, we can move it under that carport instead of the pavilion.
No, I think you'd leave it right under the car, just
Oh,
leave
so
the
you're looking to
carport
cover
there.
it
To just cover it,
permanently? Okay.
yeah,
Yep, no, I agree with that, because it's foam.
yeah.
I like
A
that idea
carport
better than
is,
buying something and then tossing it because you don't need it.
no, just leave it right there. I mean, it's just,
Yeah.
it'll be, put some lights under there, whatever. I mean, I think that's the cheapest route
Yeah.
than building a complete structure. They make these carports that you put
Like the metal.
RVs in,
Yeah.
they're tall and long. That's all you need. I think it only comes out like 8 or 9 feet, so.
Yeah, keeping it under
You want to look
enclosure.
into that?
I will, and then
Okay.
I'll get back to you probably next month.
All right.
Can I go back to the Northern Pines Road project for a second? Do we need, even though we have Army Corps of Engineers approval, do we still need an additional permit from DEC to proceed with the work?
Well, the DEC permit that was obtained, so we have received that.
Okay.
And actually today I received the 90% complete plans for the fishing platform. for
Okay.
review. So, it's getting close.
Okay, good.
We'll have a final package pretty soon.
Yeah.
Take a look at, and
This is
we'll have to probably go out bid to do the work.
Yeah.
We will have to go out bid to do the work. Sure. This is the LA group will have to work.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan. Maria, you're up. Controllers report.
So the first item is our budget amendments for 2025, and the only item in that category is the release of monies from the appropriated park reserve account to pay for that zip line, or the town's share of that zip line. So I'm just proposing that we, go through the process of doing the permissive referendum by placing an ad in the paper to release the money from the reserve for $26,415, which would pay for the zip line and partial wood chips, additional wood chips for that area where the zip line would be.
Somebody want to make a motion?
So moved.
Second? All in favor? Aye. Opposed, carried.
Thank you. The second category is personnel. Our town clerk, Sue Baldwin, is requesting to attend the annual New York State Town Clerks Association Conference. It's in Syracuse from April 26th through the 30th, and because it involves overnight travel, board approval is requested.
Make a motion to
Where
approve
do you
that?
intend on staying at? Turning Stone, driving back and forth? No? Okay.
Syracuse Marriott, right in the ghetto. I'm sorry, who seconded that? Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carried.
Thank you. Highway Superintendent Michael Monroe is requesting to attend the 2025 Highway School in Ithaca from June 2 to 4. Board approval is requested for overnight travel. Great.
Make a motion.
Are you trying to be a road
Drive big trucks.
Are you trying to be a road scholar?
Man, we got a second?
I've been waiting all night to see
I'll
that one.
second.
Worst dad joke of all time.
All in favor? Any opposed? Carried.
Thank you. And our Highway Superintendent Mike Monroe is requesting to hire Logan Allen for a seasonal position at the rate of $22 an hour. And if approved, Mr. Allen's start date is April 8th, Tuesday.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carried.
Thank you. We have an employee who is out of sick leave, and he'll be extended sick until April 24th at least. And we have another very kind employee who is willing to donate his sick leave up to 80 hours for that purpose. So board has the discretion of approving that.
Absolutely, I make that motion.
I'll second.
All in
Take care of
favor?
our own here.
Aye.
Opposed,
And just-
carried.
Thank you. Informationally, the way we do it is we'll take the 80 hours from the one employee and value the number of days that will be donated to the other employee based on the pay rate of the employee that's donating. So it actually works out to more than 80 hours. Yeah.
That's good.
And then our last item is just informational, so the board is aware, we filed the 2024 annual financial report with the State Controller's Office.
Thank you. Before we leave, Mike, I want to thank you and your crew for keeping all our residents safe this winter. I know you put a lot of hours in, a lot of hours. Did a great job.
Any salt left over? Yeah?
Ready for the next one.
It'll be next week.
You never
I
know.
was worried last night.
Last couple of nights, it was like, oh my
Morning
God.
that came out.
Somebody want to make a motion, go into executive session?
Make that motion.
Second.
Or is it executive session or attorney? It doesn't matter.
I don't know what we're talking about.
Okay.
We'll invite you.
You're invited.
About the paving of a road with a letter of credit or something. Paving of a road with letter of credit. I'd like to have Mike,
I do know what we're talking about.
I'd like to have Mike, Ryan, and Maria come in this meeting too.
Hang on, though. I don't think that's an appropriate topic for executive session.
Personnel
If
only.
you want to adjourn the meeting and have an attorney-client privilege conference, that's not subject to the open meetings law, we can do that. The topic that you're talking about is not appropriate for executive session.
That's usually just personnel issues, correct?
No, it's a whole bunch of different.
Litigation.
Litigation.
Litigation,
What you're talking about is not appropriate for executive session.
Okay.
But you're allowed to meet with me, so long as you're seeking and gaining legal advice. You're allowed to meet with us anytime, any place. It's not subject to the open meetings law, and there's no notice required.
No,
Is that gonna cost us
we weren't
extra?
taking any action, right?
I'll make a motion to go into executive session with attorney.
Well, no, we're not going to executive. I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
To adjourn. I'll second.
Then we can go into
Thank you.
attorney-client privilege.
Attorney-client,
meeting.
And we don't
Thank
need a
you.
motion or any process to do that.
Thank you.
Would you join us?
The meeting's done. Now we gotta go to another room.
Is the meeting adjourned then?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you, sir.